Hello and welcome to an all-new episode of the Friendship Rewind, where I look back through the entire series My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. I'm your host, Alex Inman, and this week, now that we've gone through the big action-packed opening of the show, we're going to be settling down for a while and enjoying some nice day-by-day activities in the world of Equestria. That's right, we're going slice of life. That means a more sitcom style, where a problem happens once per episode, it gets solved, and then the world sort of resets for the next episode and its problem. However, this episode does not actually match what I said, because this episode also introduces the series' first seasonal arc. And that is a story that is told over multiple episodes in a season, and in this case, this story will be taking place over 3 episodes, one right now, one at about the middle of the season, and then concluding at the last episode of the season. And let's begin the first main episode of the show. It is titled Ticketmaster, and it is written by Lauren Faust, the creator of the show, and Amy Keating-Rogers. Now, I'll say this right from the top. Amy is one of the best writers on the show. Her episodes are just consistently so much fun, and oftentimes there's a song involved. And let's begin with Twilight helping Applejack carry some freshly picked apples down a road to the farm. And this is just a perfect time to highlight, looking back on it now, how more advanced the animation gets, because in this scene you can see Twilight's mane clipping into her leg while it's moving, and that's just not something that you would see now, but just those little animation errors just starting out. But it's still really good animation, which is again an older version of Adobe Flash. Twilight's stomach is rumbling from working all day, but that's going to have to wait, because out of Spike's mouth comes a letter from Princess Celestia.
Hear ye, Her Grand Royal Highness, Princess Celestia of Equestria, is pleased to announce the Grand Galloping Gala to be held in the magnificent capital city of Canterlot on the 21st day of... yada yada yada.
And as Spike reads the letter, the camera pans up into the mountains to see the capital city of Canterlot, which is set on the side of a really huge, tall mountain. And it's always so funny to see, because you're always thinking, how does that work? Anyway, with the letter are 2 tickets for the Grand Galloping Gala, one for Twilight, and one for a friend. And here we get to the classic choose your favorite friend plot. You get 3 guesses right now for how this is going to end. And so Applejack starts talking about what she would do if she went to the gala, and that is sell her family's food at the event and get a whole lot of money in order to do all kinds of different improvements to their lives.
We could replace that saggy old roof. And Big Macintosh could replace that saggy old plow. And Granny Smith could replace that saggy old head.
But just before Twilight asks if she'd like to go, Rainbow Dash falls onto both of them. She overheard Twilight saying she had a ticket, and so she goes off on what she would do if she went, which is trying to get the Wonderbolts' attention so that they would let her in to be part of the team.
And for my grand finale, the Buccaneer Blaze! Don't you see, Twilight? This could be my one chance to show him my stuff. You've got to take me!
Rainbow Dash's fantasy also gives us a taste of the early show's crowd shots, and it is clone central, meaning that there are multiple copies of the same pony character in the same shot. Applejack doesn't like Rainbow Dash barging in and trying to steal the ticket from her, so she challenges Rainbow Dash to an arm wrestle for it. And this starts Applejack and Rainbow Dash being physically competitive with each other and trying to best each other in physical activity. This will come back in a later episode. And again, it's really funny that both of these characters are voiced by the same person. Twilight reminds both of them that it is her ticket to give away, and the friend who has the best reason to go to the gala will get the ticket. Twilight's stomach grumbles again, and so she uses that as an excuse to leave and get into town to get some lunch. Unfortunately, Twilight can't catch a break, and on her way to her lunch spot, Pinkie Pie randomly shoots out of a house and tackles Twilight to the ground. Pinkie Pie then notices the tickets and, of course, goes off on her fantasy of what she would do if she went to the gala, which, since she's the party pony, would be her taking in and enjoying all the party festivities and just having a really great time. This sequence is also accompanied by a quick little song that is adorably sung by Shannon Chan Kent.
Oh, the Grand Galloping Gala is the best place for me. Oh, the Grand Galloping Gala is the best place for me. Cause it's the most galloping, superly terrific gala ever in the whole galaxy. Whee!
Now, on the rewatch of this episode, Pinkie mentions and we see something called fairy lights, which are like these little balls of light with wings, kind of like the fairies from the Legend of Zelda series. But this is an item or a concept that we never see again in the show. This kind of like straight fantasy item like a fairy. I never noticed this the first time I saw the episode, and now looking back, it's really fascinating. These fantasy concepts that never made it. And you could probably guess what happens at this point. Rarity comes by, notices the tickets, and then launches into her own fantasy where she meets, gets courted by, and then marries Princess Celestia's nephew, who's a prince. So getting into that Disney princess kind of thing.
He would ask for my hope in marriage, and of course I would say, yes! We would have a royal wedding befitting a princess, which is what I would become upon marrying him, the stallion of my dreams. Twilight, I simply cannot believe you would invite Pinkie Pie so she can party and prevent me from meeting my true love. How could you?
And then Fluttershy comes by, notices the tickets, and in her fantasy talks about seeing all of the exotic plants and animals that are kept at Canterlot Castle.
The flowers are said to be the most beautiful and fragrant in all of Equestria. There's loons and toucans and bitterns, oh my! Hummingbirds that can really hum, and buzzards that can really buzz. When blue jays and red jays and green jays, pink jays and pink flamingos.
And then Rainbow Dash and Applejack show up, which causes the 5 friends of Twilight to start arguing with each other on who should get the ticket, and that causes Twilight to reach her breaking point.
And then I said, oatmeal, are you crazy? Oh.
With her hunger still needing to be satisfied, she shoos her friends away and finally makes it to a restaurant. But once she gets there, the stress of not having eaten, combined with the stress of having to decide, makes her lash out.
Have you made your decision?
I can't decide!
Twilight, he just wants to take your order.
Oh.
Twilight then gets her food, a daffodil and daisy sandwich, because, horses. But before she can take a bite, the waiter makes her aware that it is raining everywhere except in the little spot right where she is sitting. And then Rainbow Dash pops out of the hole in the clouds above Twilight, asking if she is enjoying the sunny weather while everyone else is in the rain.
Rainbow, you're not trying to get extra consideration for the extra ticket by doing me extra special favors, are you? Me? No, of course not. Uh-huh.
Twilight gets Rainbow Dash to close up the hole in the clouds because she doesn't want to be treated special, but of course that causes rain to come down and makes her unable to eat her sandwich. Rarity then shows up and offers Twilight shelter at Carousel Boutique from the rain, and then gives Twilight a makeover before quickly giving up what her true intentions are.
All eyes would be on us, and then everyone would finally know the most beautiful, most talented, most sophisticated pony in all of Equestria is Rarity the Unicorn!
Twilight leaves immediately, but she can't even get out the door before Applejack ambushes her right outside with a cart full of food, which makes Twilight even more angry and indecisive. Twilight makes it back to the tree library and opens the door to find Fluttershy cleaning the inside and singing a familiar tune.
Fluttershy, not you too!
And bless her heart, she actually forgets the ulterior motive for cleaning until Angel, her bunny friend, reminds her.
You're not doing this for the ticket, are you?
Oh, no. I'm doing this because you're my very best friend. Oh, yes, we are just doing this for the ticket.
Twilight immediately opens the door asking Fluttershy to leave, but then is pulled out the door by Pinkie Pie, who makes it very clear that she just wants the ticket.
Twilight is my bestest friend, Whoopie.
Pinkie.
She's the cutest, smartest, all-around best pony.
Pinkie.
I bet if I throw a super duper fun party,
Pinkie.
she'll give her extra ticket to the gala to me.
This talk of the ticket alerts the ponies gathered around, which causes a wonderful Benny Hill-esque chase sequence with the mob of ponies after Twilight, and background score composer Will Anderson doing a great Benny Hill-like theme. Twilight gets cornered and resorts to teleporting back to the tree library, where her friends are shockingly waiting for her.
I can't decide, I just can't decide! It's important to all of you, and I just can't stand to disappoint any of you, and giving me gifts and doing me favors won't make any difference, because you're all my friends, and I want to make you all happy, and I can't! I just can't!
Twilight's friends finally see the pain that they've caused her, and one by one say that they don't want to have the ticket anymore. Except Rainbow Dash, who selfishly starts chanting that she now has the ticket since everyone else gave it up. And this is actually interesting to see because of how much more humble and empathetic Rainbow Dash gets later on in the show, and seeing her back in her old selfish ways is fun. And then we get the first friendship lesson of the show.
Dear Princess Celestia, I've learned that one of the joys of friendship is sharing your blessings. But when there's not enough blessings to go around, having more than your friends can make you feel pretty awful.
And she ultimately decides to send both tickets back, because if even one of her friends can't join in, then she won't join in either. Spike sends the letter away and immediately gets a reply back from Princess Celestia saying that she should have just said something about there being not enough tickets, and with the letter includes tickets for all 6 of them and Spike. And this gets into the debate on whether Princess Celestia is mischievous or if she is as godlike as she appears and is willingly testing Twilight by not telling her all the rules. But that will have to wait because now everyone is able to go to the gala at the end of this season, and that is how the episode ends. So, that was a lot more mundane than the very action-packed premiere episode, but this is what the show is really about. It is about character interactions and character conflicts. That is the heart and soul of Friendship is Magic, and this episode demonstrates it perfectly. It also starts the per-episode concept of Twilight sending a letter to Princess Celestia about what she's learned about friendship. And looking back on this episode today, you can see the incredibly strong foundation that Lauren made right from the start, with characters and setting, and the main driver of conflict in the show, interpersonal relationships, which is really important for kids to learn about. So, that's what I thought about the episode, and of course, I'd love to hear what you think about it. You can tweet at me at InmanAlex, INMANALEX. You can leave a comment if you're listening on a platform that has comments. Also, I want to let you know about all the places you can listen to the Friendship Rewind. YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Google, Overcast. It's pretty much on every podcast provider, and I have to thank Anchor for making it so easy to create and distribute this show. This is not an advertisement. This show would not be possible without Anchor. Thank you again so very much for listening, and I will be back next week for the next episode of the Friendship Rewind. Thank you for listening, and don't forget to vote. Spike sends the leather